Yes, good morning, students. Today is the fourth part of chapter breathing and exchange of gases. And before going to start our this fourth lecture, just have a recall about the topic which are already covered. The first topic is the difference between breathing and respiration, then the respiratory system, and then we study about the nose, nostrils, nasal chamber, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, and at the end, in the part third, lungs are covered. So the content of this part is mechanism of breathing, the main mechanism behind the breathing, the inspiration process, the expiration process, and about the respiratory quotient. So, this is the mechanism of breathing. Breathing consists of two main processes, inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means intake of air and exhalation is removal of air. So, you can easily visualize when we inhale, there are certain changes in our body, and when we exhale, we also see some changes in our body. Just take a long inhalation, long breathe in. When we long breathe in, then our ribs, this portion, rib cage will expand, and you can see the diaphragm will move down when we inhale, and you can see thoracic cavity will, the volume of thoracic cavity will increase. So the first diagram here represent the inhalation process. You can see this air inhale, the rib cage will expand, rib muscles will contract, and diaphragm will move downward. Similarly, exhale, when we exhale, then the ribs will move inward and downward, and diaphragm become relaxed. These two processes can be easily, you can say, recalled by having deep inhalation and deep exhalation in our body. Next. So what is inspiration? What is the process behind inspiration? So let's start. Inspiration is an active process, and inspiration is brought about by ribs, intercostal muscles, sternum, and diaphragm. So inspiration is an active process, and inspiration, you can say, is carried out by ribs, second muscles, third sternum, and fourth is diaphragm. The internal intercostal muscles contract. Sorry, the external intercostal muscles. In inspiration, the external intercostal muscles will contract, and that will pulls the ribs outward and increase the area in the thoracic cavity. And the sternum bone is, you can see here in this portion, lower portion, one bone is present known as sternum also raise up, the diaphragm will contract and become flat. These are some changes you can easily you can see during inspiration. I'm again repeating, inspiration is an active process. Inspiration include ribs, intercostal muscles, sternum, and diaphragm. Intercostal muscles will contract, ribs will move outward. Okay, thoracic cavity will increase, the sternum bone is also raised, the diaphragm contract, and it become flat. Now, what are the changes what would be observed in our thoracic cavity? The thoracic cavity volume will increase, and the pressure on the lungs will get decreased. I'm again repeating. When we inhale, the volume of thoracic cavity will increase, but in the pressure in the lungs, the pressure will decrease, and the lungs will expand and increase their volume also. Atmospheric air enter into the lungs through the respiratory passage and make the pressure equal to the outer environment. Thus, the air enter into the lungs. I am again repeating the last point. The volume of thoracic cavity increase, the pressure inside the lungs decrease. So when the lungs expand, their volume will increase, and the volume will increase, then the air that is present outside the environment or outside the, you can say, body will rushes towards the lungs. or by this the air will enter into the lungs. Yes, this is expiration. This second slide is expiration. I think uh, due to some dislocation, the heading expiration moves slightly above the slide. So this slide is of expiration only. Expiration is a passive process. Expiration is a passive process, and in this intercostal muscles relax, pulling the rib inward and downward. Diaphragm become relaxed, and the collective collection, you can say the collective contraction of intercostal muscles and diaphragm reduces the volume of thoracic cavity. During expiration, during inspiration, thoracic cavity volume increase, but during expiration, the volume of thoracic cavity get decrease, and the pressure on the lungs also, you can say the pressure on the lungs increases, and by which the lungs get compressed and air is pushed out of the body. Alternate inspiration and expiration together form the respiratory cycle. In an adult human, the respiration rate is near about 60 to 20 times per minute, and the respiration is controlled by the portion of brain known as medulla oblongata. So this is a respiratory quotient, very important topic for your exam also. What is respiratory quotient? Respiratory quotient is the ratio of the volume of CO2 by the ratio of the volume of O2 used. Means how many volume, or you can say uh, the volume of CO2 produced and the volume of O2 used, the ratio is known as respiratory quotient. The respiratory quotient value is differ for different substrate. Glucose has a respiratory quotient of near about only 1. The glucose has a respiratory quotient equal to 1, and fat has respiratory quotient equal to 0.7. Protein has respiratory quotient near about 0.85. Organic acid has respiratory quotient of 1.3 to 1.4. And in anaerobic respiration, the respiratory quotient is infinity, and the instrument that is used for respiratory quotient is known as Ganong's respirometer. I'm again repeating this slide. Respiratory, what is respiratory quotient? It is the volume of CO2 produced by the volume of O2 utilized. And the respiratory quotient is differ for different type of substrates. For example, glucose has 1, fat has 0.7, protein has 0.85, organic acid has 1.3 to or 1.4. So these are some respiratory quotients of different substrate having the different values, and the instrument that is used for respiratory quotient is known as Ganong's respirometer. So thank you. This is all about in today's class.